Hello. Yes, this is Kepra coming back at you. Today is Tuesday, July 24th. We are in the on the completion of the present summer solstice. Yeah, my apologies for not getting this video out sooner. I had a very busy weekend. Um, some of you may watching this may know, we had a lot going on. Uh, Kepra's Raw Food Juice Bar, we vended at the Oneness Festival. It was a yoga festival here in DC, and then of course the Dr. Sabia event the next day. Um, that was an awesome event. People definitely came out to support that, and so it was very busy, an event-filled weekend. It usually takes me a day or two to recuperate, to kind of get my body back into balance. From all the standing and the working and the moving, the serving and the energy you put out is tremendous. But I love it. I love what I do. Wouldn't have it any other way. But here we are at the summer solstice, and even though we're at the conclusion of our present summer solstice, the information that I would like to share is still going to apply. Because again, this is a point in the cycle, solar cycle, where we have the beginning of the darkening energies. So let's start with that. What is the summer solstice? And basically what is it other than a date on a calendar? So really what the summer solstice is really a climax of the solar cycle. We have the winter solstice, which is the beginning of the sun making its beginning, making it's like it's the birth. And we see this the lost my words here, the symbolism behind the December 25th, and how it's connected with the summer solstice, and how that whole phenomena, it being astrological, and not only astrological, but being symbolically representing the birth of the sun in the northern hemisphere. So let's be clear. Right now, below the equator, they're going into their winter solstice, and so for them, it's the opposite. So right now, we've just finished our winter, or our summer solstice. Excuse me. So what is the summer solstice, and how? What should we basically, because we have the solstices and the equinox. Equinox is basically just in equal time, a time that is squarely in between the solstices. So really, the key energetic points in the cycle are definitely the solstices. So with the summer solstice, really, this is a time to. This is like if we equated the energies of a 24-hour cycle. So the summer solstice would basically represent like 12 noon if we condensed a 12-month solar cycle to a 24-hour cycle. And at 12 o'clock, it's high noon, and we have the rest of the day, which really represents summertime. So what we have in this case here is that we have the upcoming summer, in the summer months, and usually are the warmer months of the year. However, we now have a time where the energy is starting to get weak. We had a pinnacle of sorts in terms of the cycle, and where energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically, it was like we've reached our maximum. We've reached our highest potential in terms of how we're to in terms of either symbolically or in a physical, mental, spiritual way reach our goals for the year. Because again, it's just like in a 24-hour cycle, there's certain things we're trying to get done through the day. And of course, the optimal time, people will tell you they're probably most efficient from the morning to the afternoon. And then, as we move into early evening, the sun is still out. However, our energy is waning. So the energy on a year cycle is going to start to wane. So we really want to start, like if there's any projects, anything, any goals, anything, especially long term that you're trying to work towards and attain. If you're trying to take on new habits, new lifestyle changes, the time to do it is starting in the winter solstice through the summer solstice. This is the time to really take stock of what you've set in stone, whether it's your New Year's resolution or really ideally at the winter solstice, which is the December 21st to December 24th phenomenon. So with that said, this is basically a time to say, how did we do? How did we do in these last 6 months? How did you journal? Did you set intentions? Did you make changes? Did you look to attain or whatever goals that you set? How did you do? Now is the time to issue yourself the report card. This is what this time is all about. This is the time to take inventory, so that now, really, what this time is all about is not to say that you don't stop what you're doing, because obviously, we can get things done through the rest of the year. However, when we take the whole year into account, our energies are at their best in the first 6 months of the year. In the second 6 months of the year, again, we have to live, we have to do things, obviously. However, when we're speaking on optimal, using our energy in an optimal way, this is really a time where we really want to be more. This is about being in sync with those influences that we're not quite in tune with, even though they affect us. And so this is really about optimizing your life through the recognition of the solar cycle, and this is what it is. So basically, what is the summer solstice? Basically, it's a time when it's a 4-day period where we have basically the days, up until the 21st, we had the days getting longer, and then we have during that 4-day cycle, it's like the solstice says sun stand still. So in that 4-day cycle, basically the sun is still, meaning that the days don't get shorter or longer per se. And then by the 25th, the energy is clearly moving in the other direction. So this is what the solstice is about. Hold on, reduce my screen here. Okay. Okay, so how does that affect us spiritually and physically? Well, again, I talked about creating new habits, making lifestyle changes. Um, again, we don't want to just be floating through life. Every year we should be setting intentions, we should be making goals, but really we should be working through those goals. We should be taking inventory not just through the year, but every week, every month, every day even, because what we're doing on a daily basis is what's going to make the difference in the end. So when we understand these physical shifts or these spiritual shifts in the heavens, they really have a profound impact on us here on earth. Um, and so again, this is as a recap. This is a time to take stock, to issue that report card, what you did, what you didn't do, what you could do better, and really now as we move through summer and fall, it's really a time to prepare yourself in a more meditative way. As the darker energy becomes more and more dominant, especially around as we move from summer to fall, we got the fall equinox. Well, after that equinox, that's where you really have where the darkening energy becomes really paramount, and that's when we really want to, we want to really take the time to reduce our physical activity, reduce our mental activity. We really want to really be in tune with the cycle, because what it does is that it really prepares you. Really, just like and you see it with fall, just being an observer of nature. You see the leaves of the trees start to change color because the sun energy is not feeding it, and therefore, so the color begins to change. The sap, the blood of the tree, the sap begins to withdraw back into the earth. So here you have nature, which is preparing itself for a deep winter sleep. So we really have to take a clue from that. We really have to follow that, and in terms of optimizing our own lives, because I can tell you last year. Now, let me say this first. The previous years, now, physically, my number one choice of exercise is yoga. And now I've been doing yoga for about 12, 13 years. And especially in the last 3 to 4 years, in the fall, I pretty much stop. And I pretty much allow my body to heal from the yearly, probably from between spring and summer, I'm doing 4 or 5 times a week, and it has when you're doing that, at least for me, this has been my experience. When you have when you're at it every week, at least 3 times a week, every week of the year, that has a cumulative effect. And the thing is that what's important, especially with an exercise like yoga, because yoga, you're not only you're working on your strength, you're working on your flexibility, and especially within your joints. Playing sports as a youngster, it had a profound effect on my joint health, and then actually trying to reverse that through the practice of yoga, opening up my knees and my ankles and things of that nature, especially, it takes time. It could take time for those to heal, and previous 3 to 4 years, what I've done is just really go with that. I feel that my body doesn't it didn't have any. I was undoing myself by continuing to work out through the late summer into fall. My body wanted to rest, it wanted to heal. So when I would go, especially when I was doing capoeira, I would get injured. So my body would say it would force. And really, the injury was like, look, the joints can't take any more stress that you're putting on it, because the stress that I was putting on it, again, if I'm going into a stretch, I'm putting stress on it, and that stress is a good stress. It's a healthy stress. However, it's still stress, and because of the energy is waning. That solar energy is waning. Our bodies are getting weaker, and really, it's a time to go more within. It's a time to get more into our subconscious energy, our dark energy. It's a time to do those more internal exercises like meditation, qigong, some of the things that are more going to develop us in a more internal, spiritual way. Okay, where yoga can definitely be more external. Now it all works together. However, last year, you would think that, after a few years of me being into this rhythm, where I would take at least 2 to 3 months off completely, then come back. And, the first year I did that, and it was really just by accident. And at least in my mind, my body was I was just following orders in terms of my body, because my body was like, look, you cannot go. So lo and behold, that first year I had somewhere in January, my body felt the urge to work out. And I was like, okay, let me go with it. And I quickly, it's just like, it was a feeling that like 6 to 8 week rest, once I started working out again, I could feel within the first 2 weeks, I could feel that how my body benefited from that rest. And, I try to share that with people, and people, again, they're usually not really receptive to that. And that's fine, but having gone through it, having been doing this for a long time, it was very clear to me. And it really is in tune with the whole summer solstice and what I'm talking about here. So, basically, last year I did not follow that. My body felt good, and I stayed with it. And even though I had kind of minimized it to like once a week, my body was used to at least taking a few weeks off, at least 4 to 6 weeks where I did at least nothing on the yoga side of it. And because I did that, now I've had issues with my legs, with my ankles. My body just didn't get a chance to heal during that winter time, that fall winter time, that I didn't give it that opportunity, and because of that, I did not. I'm actually behind in terms of my poses and what I was able to do the year before. How deep I was able to go into the postures. I've not been able to go as deep. And this was all because I didn't take that proper rest during the fall and winter months. I kept going and going, and thought that I could get away with it. However, I ended up undoing myself. So what is the lesson here? The lesson here is that in order to really be at your optimal best, it really serves you to. It's just like in a 24-hour cycle, you know, you could say, okay, I'm gonna try to get such and such and such and such done, and I'm not gonna sleep because I need those whole 24 hours. However, you're not gonna be at your best if you don't go to sleep tonight or any night. You're not gonna be as good. You're not gonna be as sharp. You're not gonna be as vibrant. You're not, nothing's gonna work. And it works the same way in a 12-month cycle. If you keep working, whatever you're doing, whether it's your job, whether it's a physical practice, whether it's a hobby, whether you're an artist, whatever you may be, however you are expressing yourself in an external way, because really the summer solstice is about external realization. It's during this time where we want to see the physical proof of what we've been spiritually manifesting during the winter solstice. So whether that means, whether you're taking on a practice, a physical practice, whether it's dance, martial arts, yoga, or something similar to that, or you're doing, whether it's your job, the kind of work that you do, you're trying to set goals, whether it's habits, diet related, lifestyle changes, or you're just working on just your own being, whatever way it is. There's an inner you and there's an outer you. There's an inner you where things begin. Things begin with your thoughts and your ideas and your whatever starts from within. It starts in the dark, and then at some point it gets realized in the light. Now, if it doesn't start in the dark, or if it's not nourished properly in the dark, then it won't manifest properly in the light. So really, now this time is not to set any new intentions per se. It's not a time to try to make change or make lifestyle changes, or habitual changes. Now is the time to really start to prepare yourself for the winter solstice. This is the time to really kind of chill and reduce your output gradually and slowly from now till December. In terms of fasting, which I haven't even talked about, this is not even the time really to really, in terms of fasting in a solar sense, in terms of the solar 12-month cycle, you will get way more out of the winter solstice fast than you will the summer solstice fast, because again, our energy is at its highest right now. So our energy is really prime in terms of breaking down physical nutrients. We got a lot of sun energy coming at us, so that's going to be assisting us, giving us the vitamin D, giving us that energetic digestive fire in order to be breaking down heavy foods and such. So now is the time. I actually did 2 days on juices. I usually do. Sometimes I just kind of go with it. I had set the intention to do 4 days, but I ended up doing 2. That happens. But for the winter solstice, I definitely do like 2 weeks. This is the time where I do my longer fast. I do my extended fast for the year. So that's what works for me. And I think it's optimal for everyone, especially anyone living above the equator. So, yeah, that was I shared with you pretty much what I wanted to talk about, I think I hit all the major points. Just to recap the solstice is a time where the solar energy shifts. I think we pretty much all understand that. And really now it's a time for us to start to allow our own energies to wane, and really just allow ourselves to be in tune with nature. To continue to ride out the summer. Definitely get plenty of sunlight, get plenty of fresh air. Use the summer to your advantage, especially being in a seasonal city. If you're doing any farming, that is like the optimal. For me, I don't necessarily do farming. I do have a few. I have some berry patches and some fruit trees, so I get a chance to enjoy that and connect with nature directly that way. However, the other way I do is to, I like to do my yoga outside as well during these months. And I don't like to use a yoga mat. I like to be right on the grass, touching the grass, connecting with the grass. The earth has a very healing energy. There's a book that I have, one of the books I have up here, it's called Earthing. I suggest that's, recommended reading. Definitely add that to your library. Understanding touching the earth, connecting with the earth has a healing effect on the body. So I get a chance to really do that when I'm doing yoga, especially in the summer. But at the same time, especially once the fall equinox comes, it's really a time to really reduce your activity, reduce your mental activity, your physical activity. Really allow yourself to rest physically, mentally, spiritually, because it will serve you well for the upcoming year. So what you do is you just go within and journal, set your intentions for the new year, and prepare yourself that way. Versus, it's like basically, it's like there's one train, and this is the time where the train has come to a stop, and now is the time to, once the winter solstice approaches, that's when the train starts again. So you want to prepare yourself for that train when it comes around again. If you take public transportation, I guess you can identify. You can understand, like, when the bus comes or when the train comes, you want to be there. You want to be there. So now is a time where the train has come to its stop. It's now a time for us to prepare for the next train that comes along, which is 6 months from now. So you have plenty of time. Again, you don't want to make the same mistake that I did. You think I would have learned, but again, it's like, even if we're doing something year after year after year, we can forget, and we need to be reminded of what we already know, and then what not only just what we know, but what we teach and share to others. So that happened to be the case with me. So thank you for watching this video. We have it's my daughter, Yazi. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. What do you have on, lip gloss?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we want to talk about that. But
and I have a big sister, Samaya. She's upstairs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I want to thank you for watching. I have some upcoming projects and events. Let's see, we have the Raw Food Festival coming up next month here at Emergence Arts Collective. That is on the address is 733 Euclid. You can go Google it or go on the Facebook page. I think it's on my Facebook page. But you can find out the information. I will be presenting and I think participating on the panel, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to something else I have coming up. Well, in August, I'll be in Richmond, Virginia for Happily Natural Day. So I'll be vending and presenting at that event. I'm looking forward to that. And I may also be doing a series of classes in later August, so stay tuned. If you're on my newsletter, I will be putting together a newsletter before the end of this week, so look out for that. You can go to my website, chefkepper.com, and click on, well, put your email in for the newsletter, and you'll see what's going on. You can register for those classes. And then also, you know, I have some, I've you know, I'm going to be starting working on my next book soon. So, you know, also looking for that. So, thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed your solstice. And remember to remember what I said in the video in terms of preparing yourself for the next train ride and the next winter solstice. Peace and love.